store. And
Nothing else is working.
yeah,
Let me just throw a tantrum.
exactly. So she just said, with tears in her eyes, she said, we can't afford it.
And how did that make you feel?
Well, it was devastating. It was devastating because it wasn't so much that we couldn't afford it. It was the way she said it to me
The
and how she
sadness?
felt, like
Yeah.
helpless. Like,
Yeah.
she loved me so much, showered me with love and affection, but she couldn't help me at that moment.
At that moment. And
So it was at that point that I was determined. I looked at my mother's eyes and I said, Ma, don't worry about it. You never have to worry about money again. I'm going to get you a white limousine with a chauffeur and a white
Wow.
mansion, and we can go to all the fancy restaurants, and you can go shopping. And so that was a dream of mine early on.
And I'm sure as a mom, she's like, okay, son, I know
Yeah,
you will.
yeah,
It's
that's what
like,
she
yeah,
said.
that's great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Not really realizing that you would literally use that story to propel you to
Absolutely.
where you at now.
I kept that deep in my heart. We never spoke about it again.
Right.
And so, I grew into my adolescence ages, and then I decided to get into real estate,
Okay.
coincidentally, because my friend's father had gotten his real estate license.
Okay.
And he started making money right away.
Right.
And I said, man, if he can do it, because he was out of work for a couple of years, and I said, if he can do it, I can do it.
You can do it.
And I was going to Kingsborough Community College at
I
the
went
time.
there too.
Yeah, you went there
I
too?
love
That's
beautiful
awesome.
campus,
Yeah, it was
right?
great
We
campus.
got so much
Good
together.
walk.
Yeah,
Look at
I
that, look at
love
that.
it.
Yeah, so
Did you major in real estate in
no, it was
college?
just business administration. I was still trying to find out what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I decided to take the real estate course.
Okay.
And at the time, the course was 1 week, and the
Yes.
tuition was $175.
Okay.
So when I was in the classroom, the instructor was showing off. He was saying, oh, you can do this. You can become a developer. You can become a top salesperson. You
Yeah.
can make so much money.
But yeah, you're teaching.
Yeah. And I raised my hand. I said, in front of the class, and I said, excuse me, sir, if real estate's so great, then why aren't you doing it, And he said, I'm going to talk to you after class. I said, okay, no problem.
Okay.
So I waited anxiously to hear what he had to say. And after class, he said, Anthony, I actually own this real estate school. And that's how I do my thing in real estate. And I did the math
Yeah.
real quick. It was $175.
He was making a killing.
He was making about $1.3 million a year in real estate education. I said, sir, I respect you. I'm going to listen from now on. Yes, no problem. And that's when I started to make my game plan. My goals were set right there. I said, okay, there's tons of ways you can make money in real estate.
Yeah.
And I said, real estate education is one avenue, and I said, I'll explore that further down the track.
Right.
But for now, my main goal is pass the state exam,
Okay.
work for a top company,
Okay.
learn all the ins and outs of sales, and then maybe rub elbows with some developers and owners, ask them questions. Hey, how did you buy this home? Why are you selling this home? What are you doing? So I just really wanted to be a sponge and soak information.
And and I really believe that is the best way to learn and to grow.
Yes.
Because if you wanna be a carpenter, you're not gonna hang around with people who sing.
Yes.
If you wanna be an aspiring airplane person who flies airplanes, you're not gonna be in a rowboat rowing with people who row.
Right.
It's those saying association breeds assimilation.
Absolutely. And
I don't want to take up because I want you to remember where you're at. But what I want to backtrack and tell people, and my motto this year is, what is your why? And that was, I really believe you have to have a strong why, because that why is what will propel you no matter how bad. And if people don't understand, you have to have a why. Why do you want this change? Why do you want this? And in your case, it wasn't even so much the watch, it was the sadness in your mother's eyes.
Yeah.
No kid wants to see their parents feel so sad and so defeated, and that was your biggest why.
Oh yeah, there was just not only my mom was an influence, it was
Right.
also my father. He used to be
Exactly.
a street entertainer. He was a retired school teacher, living on a small pension.
We know how much they make.
Yeah, exactly. So, he used to do photo with the parrot. He had a beautiful blue and gold macaw.
Was that the beautiful parrot that we had? So that was a beautiful parrot.
He used to go around Little Italy. And I remember, when I was 16, 17, I used to go to the restaurants in Little Italy and on dates and stuff. And I would see my dad, hustling and taking photographs. But I also saw how, people were changing. People were pulling the bird's tail. People were, like, poking fun, things like that. So that also bothered me.
Okay.
And I said, if I have the power to help my parents retire because they've done so much for me, why can't I be all I can be?
Exactly.
And make them retire.
Yes.
And that was also a strong influence point of mine.
You're such a great son. I'm going to make sure my Pookie watch this. Andrew, that's my baby's name. But your father, your mother, great influence. And you know what? They were entrepreneurs in their own right. Because guess what? That's working for yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Because as an entrepreneur, you have to get up, go out there, whether it's rain or shine. Because if you don't go out there and do it, you're not going to get paid.
Yep.
So they were definitely a great role model for you into this entrepreneurial spirit that you have.
Sure. Yeah, I feel blessed. You know, I don't think without their positive influence, I'd be where I'm at today.
Exactly.
And you always know, even though they can't help you financially, but that moral support, knowing that someone's by your side when the chips are down, someone's going to believe in you. And also, they can play devil's advocate. You know, I loved them challenging me on some of my ideas.
That's
and really
great.
making me open my eyes to
Okay.
saying, okay, let me rethink this strategy. So it was
Well, your
great.
baby's always the best and greatest idea in the world, because there's nothing wrong with your plan. But then somebody's like, "Come on, Anthony, think of it this way." It's like, okay, because you see things that help you see things that you won't see, because everybody's baby's the best.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with it. It's great until somebody else pokes holes in it. You're like, okay, well, let me tweak this that way.
Yeah.
So now you're rubbing elbows with you got your real estate license. You're rubbing the elbows. So how's that going? So now you're rich.
Well, no, not yet. No, didn't come that
I'm
easy.
just
I wish, but what happened was I'd have to throw myself in Barnes and Nobles because they would talk real estate terms that I really didn't understand and I didn't learn in school.
Oh, yes.
And I also wanted to keep the conversation going. I wanted to be intriguing to them. I didn't just want to be a student to an owner or developer. I wanted to be able to talk about current events in real estate.
And they respect that.
And they respect that. So I wanted to be different than just someone asking questions.
Right.
So I threw myself in Barnes & Noble, soaked in. I almost took every course you saw online, no money down. I did everything under the sun. I did everything.
And don't sleep on those.
Yeah,
and even they have a wealth of information.
Absolutely.
And like you, I grew up with the Dave Deodato. I don't know if you remember Dave Deodato. I was subscribed to his books. And again, the premises do work. It's just harder in New York City.
Yes.
But you do get a wealth of information from there. You do.
And you never know where you're going to go in your career because there's opportunities to invest in other states that maybe offer something that's less expensive.
Exactly. So don't sleep. If you see those courses, I'm a big advocate of education.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean college. It doesn't mean, but you have to read. You have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be aware of even the market now. You have to be aware. So now you're soaking up you're soaking everything in. You're learning. You want to be a part of the conversation. So what was the pivotal point, the turning point for you?
Well, a lot had happened. You know, I grew as a salesperson. I started selling a lot of real estate. I started making a lot of contacts. And then I left the firm because the broker wanted me to do unethical business, which I wasn't interested in doing. And that's part of the problem with the industry is that there's a lot of cutthroat and there's a lot of shadiness. So I wanted to distance myself from that because that's not how I was raised. Okay. So when I left the firm, I thought I was a hotshot. I thought I could use my resume. Exactly. Use my resume and go back to my roots, back to Brooklyn Heights where I was raised. We no longer live there, but and maybe bring my sales experience to Brooklyn Heights, which is a very prestigious neighborhood. It's the Beverly Hills of Brooklyn. So I show up, and I'm knocking on every door,
and with the welcome Anthony is not, not getting that.
No, and I faced a certain prejudice I never thought I would have faced. Youthful prejudice.
Really?
Because I was so young. People thought I just wasn't knowledgeable. I didn't know. I couldn't fit in because the real estate strip there was all for a lot older, more experienced individuals.
Gray-haired, more. So here's this young cat coming. What do you know? You're just out of school.
Exactly. So,
where's your mom?
And even though I had a lot of credibility in sales, they said, no, that's over there type real estate. This is over here. This is more high-end. We don't practice real estate like that.